Greetings from southern Germany that is sitting on exactly 0 degrees Celsius, which means we are sitting on freezing. I'm not wearing a jacket at the moment because there's no wind blowing, so it's not as cold as it otherwise would be. And of course, the weather here is very different, so I'm guessing, from the weather in Mexico. And that's today's topic. Many of you have asked for a video on the sex offender registry in Mexico and just as important, whether or not Mexico is allowing American sex offenders to enter. The answer, of course, is a little more complicated than one would like. It turns out that Mexico has no national sex offender registry. However, on the other hand, Mexico City does, and that sex offender registry is beginning for Mexicans in 2020 and applies only to the sex offenders who are living in Mexico City. It appears to John, and I'm in agreement with him, that this is the first step probably for Mexico to head toward a national registry. So I'm going to expect that trend. But at the moment, it's only applying to those who live in Mexico City. Now, as for those sex offenders in the United States who are entering, I should point out not just American sex offenders, but Canadian sex offenders also. They are in fact being denied at the airports, seaports, and other formal places of entry. However, I have learned that when you cross into Mexico, whether you're on foot or an automobile, there actually are no Mexican passport control centers on the border itself. In order to reach a passport control center, you have to drive further inside of Mexico about 12 miles, and that's where they're going to check passports. Same thing, if you're going to be denied at a seaport or an airport, you can guarantee you're going to be denied at one of these places. Now, I want to point out also that all convicted felons are subject to being denied entry into Mexico, and it depends on a scale and a chart that they have that I'm just going to be honest, it's a little complicated for me to try to interpret. I looked at it, it's a little much. Since most of these videos are geared toward or watched by sex offenders or the families thereof, then I'm just going to concentrate on the sex offense. Did you feel that? Wow. Directly under my feet is a train tunnel for one of the high-speed rails that passes underneath Stuttgart, and the whole ground underneath me just shook. I don't know if you could hear the rumble. That's interesting. Maybe that's what an earthquake feels like. But the point is, back to the point, that if you are on the American registry, if you are on the Canadian registry, you are going to be denied entry. Now, we cannot prove it, but there is every reason to believe that Mexico has been given access to the American database and the Canadian database. I can't find anything that formally declares that, and John did a whole bunch of research. He couldn't find anything that specifically said that, but all the indicators are that yes, Mexico is using the American registry. Now, if you are from outside America or Canadian, if you are coming from any other country on the planet, you have to have a visa to enter Mexico. On the visa application, it asks you if you are a convicted felon, and as I mentioned a moment ago, if you are, there it went again. Wow. That's kind of cool. As I mentioned a moment ago, if you are on the registry, they are going to deny you outright. If you are not on the registry but you're convicted of something else, roll the dice, see what you get. And so that's the information we have on Mexico right now. It is not a good trend, but I remind you, just like with Poland that I discussed the other day, a lot of these countries are moving toward very restrictive sex offender registries or making them public, and that is, I believe, a human rights violation. But until someone in those countries challenges it, there's nothing we can do about it. Somebody who's actually affected by the registry has to appeal it or challenge it in their own country. So that's out of my hands. I can't do anything about that. But I hope this information was interesting. I hope it was helpful to you. I've put, as you've watched, I've put links underneath here at the bottom of the screen so that if you want more information directly, you can go specifically to those sources. But those are the facts as they stand right now. So until next time, I wish you safe travels, and I truly wish a better life for you. If you're not happy with your situation, I'm going to tell you to do something about it, because that's what I think you should do. So until next time, my friends, from southern Germany, cheers.